Hey, it's Clyde Derrick, Varsity Overdrive. And yeah, I just finished the last video. I said I was going to talk about positive outcomes. So let's do that now. I'm trying to make this one short. Positive outcome. So, what is a positive outcome living in a van? You save money. You invest money. You have fun. You invest money. You save. You invest. You have fun. Positive outcome. So I talked about it in my video, The Truth About Van Life #3. It was weird because after I did the videos, or actually while they were still the last one was rendering, so I can put it up on YouTube. I went for a walk outside with my daughter, and I was telling her, as I was talking, I was telling her, actually it was a second walk, because the first walk I actually talked myself into an idea, and we went for the second walk, so I would put a video up to render, and I'll say, hey, go, I'm not going to do it, say, hey, let's go for a walk. And so I was telling her, look, I realized in the last walk that there is actually hope for me. Because look, here's the deal. I talked about building a small house, like getting the land. You can get land for less than 2,000, but let's just round up $2,000 an acre, somewhere around the south. I know it. So if you could save money and get for 5 acres, it's a 5 acre parcel. You could put some trees on it and grow some food, stuff like that, right? And you build a barn, you put your van and your trailer in. You got to go watch the video to talk about the van and trailer, and you can do that. And why you want you can, many reasons I said that the barn. But even if you're on 5 acres, I don't know how close your neighbors are. You don't really want people seeing you that you're living that way. I don't know. They might call code enforcement, and they're looking at you through the binoculars from their 10 acres away and saying, they're violating the code. They don't know. So, just if they see the barn, they'll leave you alone. They might know you're pulling up in there and living in there, but the barn looks clean. And code enforcement come around and say, well, how are you living? It's a barn. You ain't got to let them inside. It's a barn. I park my van in there. I even use parking there. So I park my van in there. Whatever. So, but you can actually, this is what I discovered as I was talking about it on a video, and I talked about it with my daughter. I realized, what? As I said in the video, if you take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to build a small house on that property, build it yourself. If you depend on where you start, like I'm in my mid-50s, I'm like, well, by the time I'm 65, if I can get started in the next couple of years, I may actually be able to build that house and be finished with it, paid for at 65, which is the basic American dream. I told my daughter, say the basic American dream isn't being wealthy or being well off. The basic American dream is you get a job, you work 30, 40 years, you retire, you have some retirement benefits. I mean, this is an old school version of it. Nobody really wants to do it that way anymore, but it's still kind of, people look at, you get retirement pay and pension and whatever else. And your house, by the time you get there, your house is paid for, so you don't have rent. You have a place to stay for the rest of your life until you die. That's basic. That's not being an investor and all this other stuff. Just old school, the American dream. Now, and I told her, I realized I may still be able to get this. So I'm saying this for van people because, the truth is a lot of you are in the same spot. I mean, I'll say it, some of you will put me down for saying it because, you should never speak on other people's lives. Some people want to define their lives their own way, and I'm not trying to take that away from you. I see van life as, failure. I'm not traveling. When I'm saying van life, I'm getting confused because in my video I talk about van life as people who travel. So living in a van is different. So let me say that living in the van is failure. Traveling in the van is not. And so I'm speaking toward me. I'm calling myself a failure. It is what it is because I would not, if given the option, I would not live in a van. When I used to have a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Georgia, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, well, I like the van better. No, I don't. I would love to have that house back. My daughter was talking about the house the other day. I would love to have the house right now. So if van life is a failure, it's okay. But does it have to stay like that? If you're in a state where you just capitalistic society kicked your butt, does it have to continue to kick your butt? So if you do this system I'm talking about, just so some people, I'm trying to show you some hope. It kind of gave me a glimmer of hope. I told my daughter I can actually still achieve the basics of the American dream, and by the time I retire, I have this small house built on this property. And so at 65, 67, somewhere in there, I can retire on a 5 acre lot, which is actually pretty decent compared to people living in the city. A 5 acre lot with a small house on it, paid for. And I was like, it brought me a little hope. I was like, okay, so I may not have a crappy, sad end to my life. I may actually have a home. It's not about being a homeowner, like I'm a homeowner. It's about having a place to walk around and rest and shower in, and not have to send a mortgage company some money. That's what it's about. And then you can have that money to travel if you're able to, have more fun, and it's just less stress on the older person. I mean, I'm stressed now, and I'm in my 50s. I don't want to be 70 still trying to scrape up X amount of dollars. I want to go to bed and not worry about it. I've been worrying about money my entire life. I want to have whatever my last years where I just go to bed. All I got to worry about is like, am I going to wake up? Am I going to have a heart attack overnight? What I mean? Am I going to wake up blind? Suddenly I just came down with a new disease. I mean, that stuff. I just want to worry about that. I don't want to worry about money. So you should be van life. No, okay, van life. I almost shouldn't have called it that because I confused myself. Because again, van life is people traveling, having fun. Van life equals fun, period. So again, people living in a van. It should be a means to an end. It should be either you're living in a van so you could be a van life person, meaning you can get to a point where you got it all together, you figured out how to make money on the road, and you're just traveling. That's your goal, or your goal is to get the hell out the van and get a house somewhere, a little piece of land somewhere, build a tiny house on an acre of land or something. To me, it's got to be that. And don't tell me I'm wrong. It can't be. You can't come online and post things and tell me you want to be 70 years old, 75, 80 years old, still boondocking in a van. Come on. No. You might be 70, 80 years old and still take little trips in the van. You want to go down to Savannah and hang out in the van and, boondock a couple of days, get a hotel one day, boondock another day and hit home. You might still do that because you're just, still part of you. But then you want to go home and relax. And it could be going home to a tiny little house. But it's on your land, it's paid for. So there is a way that you should look at van life. To me, it's a means to an end. It's a short-term thing. It's just not. It should not be. I did it again. I called it van life. I wish I hadn't defined it that way because it's hard. Just because and that's confusion. But it's almost good. I'm making a mistake because to me it is the confusion, and I think I hope people catch on to what I'm saying and define it as start separating. It should be two different communities. It should be people who live in a van and van life. Van life should be fun, and to make it clear, van life is fun. You got the money, you're doing what you're doing, or your kids, you're having fun. Living in a van or van dwellers should be a totally different community because it's not fun, and it should be looked at as people in transition from one space to another. It's not a shame. It shouldn't be a shame because you're in transition. I've seen this happen a couple times. I worked in a call center when people was losing their house in the market crash. They felt like they was losing their life. I talked to people working for Microsoft begging me to help them keep their house. It's like, dude, you're making $10,000 a month and you need help. Yeah. So now we got the pandemic. So this is twice inside of 15 years. It's going to keep happening. We're looking at probably every 15 years there's going to be something like this. It may get worse, whereas every 10 years it might get smaller and smaller the time between tragedies. So things happen. It doesn't matter. It happens to everybody. Health problems happen. But you can't really just go into a van and look at it like it's the best thing in the world. You got to transition out. So anyway, I'm gonna let that go. and hopefully there'll be more conversation. Somebody posted, said the thing I talked about the other day was good conversation. That's all. Let's maybe get some good conversation. Um, and maybe more people will look at it like that. You're going into van life. Maybe part of your plan will be saving enough money to buy 5 acres somewhere, 3 acres. So if you're looking at 2,000 an acre, $6,000 to get you 3 acres somewhere. I'm on 3 acres right now. This is where we grew up. You know, pretty good sized lot. It should be. I need to also save $6,000 so I can go down south and buy me 3 acres of land. That's part of your. That should be part of your plan. From now on, if anybody going to van, it should be. I need the van and I need the land. If you got good money, you get land on both. Get a land somewhere in Arizona and somewhere on the East Coast. So as you travel, you can park on your land on both coasts. That would be excellent. But ultimately, you want to build a little house on one of them. So anyway, so that's what I just want to talk about. It's like there is a better way to look at this thing. It shouldn't be. Don't be ashamed of where you are. You know, let nobody make you feel bad. I hate this society where people make people feel bad because they're not successful. I say all the time, I'm not going to apologize to women who won't date me because I'm not a successful capitalist. I'm a good man. You know, I'm not the only one who's not a successful capitalist. And even those people who think they're successful, well, it depends on who you're talking to. It depends on who's in the room with you. Because you will step in a room where other people will look at you and be like, you're a failure as a capitalist. I mean, people are working regular jobs and making decent income. You can step in rooms and people look at you like you have no idea. You have not taken advantage of the capitalistic system at all. You know, so that's why they call people 1%ers. There's people who just killed it in the capitalistic system. So, you know, it's success is in the eye of the beholder to a point, but in van life, it's not in, you know, like, you know, don't judge me. It's like, yeah, I judge you. It's van. You're in a. Okay, did I go with the van life? God, I shouldn't have called it that because I still call them van. I'm gonna call van dwellers. I just don't like van dwellers because it's so hard for me to say the word dwellers. It's so hard. But that's why it's van dwellers. I got to start practicing so I can say it. So van dwellers. It is what it is. It is no, you know, eye of the beholder. It is what it is. You're in transition, but keep your head up. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Go east, go south, buy that cheap piece of land. I'm rambling, so I'm gonna get up.